everybody. Welcome to Bitch Says in the Teen. The quarantine, that is. Or the pandy. What are we calling it these days? I don't know. It's never gonna fucking end. And I am tired, but I'm not leaving because I want everyone to be healthy. Guys, Casey Wilson is not here tonight. R.I.P. Casey. We love her. She is not here tonight. But guys, I got a show for you, is all I'm going to say. We got a real winner. Winners after winners. So my co-host tonight is become just a regular on the podcast. We so love her. She's so freaking funny, so freaking smart, and she's a writer on the newly nominated for a TCA award, a Black Lady sketch show, amongst other things. Please welcome Akilah Green.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm so glad to be here. What big shoes to fill.
They are.
I wish I could do a Casey impression. I practiced one. It wasn't good. So I'm going to pass. I'm so flattered that you guys asked me to be here. I feel like I talk to you guys regularly and we're friends and you can't get rid of me.
No, I'm telling you, I'm telling the audience, your Friday morning dispatches, as I'm calling them, are some of the funniest stuff I read all week. They truly make me laugh, and I'm so thrilled for them. So I was like, who better to co-host? I don't know if you guys saw this. I just saw this, but Shannon Bedore's husband has impregnated his fiancée.
Okay.
So that's some tough news.
Listen, everybody has to move on.
No, but she doesn't. Well, we have to, she doesn't move on in a way that, I just think that she's in her house screaming into a pillow.
Oh, for sure.
There's
for
just
sure.
no way.
She's eating cauliflower rice by the head.
Oh, Lord, Ms. Bedore. You know how when she practiced being dead with her husband in that episode and he had to stand over her and say a prayer? I feel like she's doing that tonight on her own. You know what I mean? It's a tough road, Miss Shannon Bedore. What have you been up to, since we last spoke?
Eating, sleeping, lying, standing, crying, lounging.
I did see a gorgeous jumpsuit the other day. A picture of you.
I have to give credit to Miss Chelsea Devontes, my good friend, who has been insisting that I'm not body enough and has decided that I need to show more cleave. Mm-hmm. And so I stopped by her house and I had on this jumpsuit and she insisted on taking 434 pictures. But yes, and so that's what happened with those pictures. You
looked hot. And I will say, in the words of Miss June Diane Raphael, which is, I'd like to get your body to the people. Get your body to the people.
I wish I could.
No,
I wish
you
I
have to. I want more shots.
I will say this is my more recent discovery during quarantine. So last time I talked to you guys, I was eating like everybody else. I was not weighing myself. I still have not weighed myself, but it is clear to me that I have put on an extra layer. And to my surprise, I really like it. I feel like I'm transitioning between porn categories. I started off as thick and I'm kind of I don't know where I'm going next, but it looks good.
It's whatever you're doing. Because I'm telling you, everyone go into her Instagrams. Go into Akilah Green Instagram. Look at these jumpsuit pics, because you're all going to get a thrill.
I don't know if it's because I'm not out and about in LA, where everybody's skinny and a model and all that. I'm in my house, and so I'm not confronted with everybody else's images, and I'm just looking at my own self in the mirror. And listen, maybe quarantine, I'll call that a silver lining of quarantine.
Oh, yes. Oh, it is. It's a silver lining with a lot of cleavage in between them.
Yeah, but other than that, watching a lot of old reruns. I'm into Designing Women again.
I love Designing Women.
I do too. And it's interesting because it's problematic, of course.
As fuck.
But they were trying to be progressive working ladies in the New South. And I still respect it. Yeah. So and I sold a TV show. Which is exciting quarantine news.
That is huge. And I don't know if many of our audience doesn't know that it's winning it's so hard. It's so hard. And so for you to do it is huge and amazing. And
thank you.
Oh my, it's the work that goes into it, and it's just amazing. And I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm in a good mood. Quarantine depression comes and goes for everybody. Today, right now, at this particular moment, I'm feeling optimistic and hopeful. It's fleeting.
You're at the height of the roller coaster that, as we know, in
Correct.
Japan, we cannot scream at. You just scream in your heart now.
Yes.
So don't scream as you go up and down the roller coaster. Scream. Let's all scream in our hearts for your victory today.
Yay!
I'm so excited for you. That's huge news. That has made me in a much better mood. In this great mood, let's introduce our guest, who is... Oh, he's a dream. He's so funny. He came on this Zoom with the arms of a god.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Arms of a god.
And he knows it because he's sleeveless.
I've never seen, he's so gorgeous.
This is a very pretty man.
I'm very attracted to this guest of ours. Let's bring to the stage, if you will, Joel Kimbooth.
Hello. Oh my God. What an honor to be back. And for these episodes especially, I can't believe that you would deign to let me be back for this.
Well, with your arms starring, how could we turn you down? I would like a pic of these arms. If we could get a screen grab of
them. We'll definitely get that on the books for you guys. And I'm so honestly honored to be on with Akilah, who I met very briefly. We shared an office very briefly, but back in the olden days when we all were at offices. And I had just listened to her very first episode, and I marched on into her office and I said, I just heard you on Bitch Sesh, and you were a revelation. A breath of fresh. This podcast bringing people together.
He was so funny. I feel like you came in and gave us an effortless type 5. I laughed for months after that. There's a line that he said that I will give contextless, where he described a situation as a real no one to root for situation. And I think it's so perfect for what we're about to discuss with these episodes. A real no one to root for situation, I think, would be when Dorinda and Ramona argue drunk.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I just thought it was so appropriate, and I want to thank you for giving me that gift, Joel.
You're very welcome. I hope it's not the last gift I give you. And I'm honestly scared that we'll disagree today, because I know that you're a former litigator, and I don't want to be on the opposing counsel on any of these issues. But I have some hot takes. I can't
wait.
Love it.
I can't wait.
Love it. I was not a litigator. I was a lobbyist, and so I'm
even worse.
No, we're all about the art of the schmooze. I don't want to argue. I want to be friends and have a drink.
I like that. The art of the schmooze. Should we take a little break and then we'll come back and talk New York? All right, we're back. Oh, before we even talk New York, Joel, what have you been doing in the teen? How have you been? Sorry,
it's pretty much the same as Akilah. Also a single gal, even arms notwithstanding. And I did build myself a little backdoor prison gym. So that's how the arms have stayed so tight. Basically, I made it to the hardware store, and despite the trauma that the hardware store has imparted to me via my father for much of my childhood, I made it through, and I got the wood and I got the nails, and I made a little bit of a gym for myself. I did have to make 2 trips, and I did accidentally, and they let me, I would like to say they knew full well what they were doing. They let me purchase 2 drills. I accidentally bought 2 different drills in my quest to build a squat rack in my backyard, and they knew as I was checking out that I didn't need 2 drills. But they let me, but they let me do it anyways. Honestly, a hate crime to let me to humiliate me like that.
Can we call them out on this pod? I'm sure no one that listens to this podcast has ever been to a hardware.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think you're the first. You have ventured where no Bitch Sesh listener has gone before.
But that's basically all. I will say, too, I have really gotten into watching live TV. Specifically, I have dipped my toe, Bravo Monday through Friday has really become an anchor to me in a way that, I've always been into the Housewives, but like I'm watching Below Deck Med, which I've never been into. I'm watching fucking $1 Million Listing. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And that is like that's full of straight men that I don't care about. And yet I'm watching it anyways. And it's a high and a low all in one.
Yeah, it's for all of us, but I'm glad that you're finding something to get you through.
And those
weeks when we were off, it was dark. It was a dark time.
Do with myself. I was truly like, what do I have to look forward to?
So I actually watched The Housewives. That was how low it got for me. But I needed my fix,
That's a real tough, that's a deuce. Let's hope we never end up there before, like, it's like when you're on the ground, detoxing from some terrible drug and you just need something. That's where you were. And
that's where I
appreciate it, but let's hope you never have to go
speaking
blame Bravo.
Lows and highs, this episode.
Okay, so New York. Wow. Some highs, like we're back at Bluestone Manor, which we call She's back to to a beautiful place. And I thought everyone was in a good mood. There were some things that happened last week, but we were like, everyone was like, we're just going to put those behind us, which is code for this is probably going to blow up, but we'll see what happens.
Yes.
What are, any hot takes starting off?
Well, first of all, welcome Leah to the Berkshires. I mean, it really is like to be on this episode, to be able to talk about Leah's first excursion to Bluestone Manor really is an honor. And I think so far anyway, she's acquitted herself well. I really love Leah. I really do.
I'm enjoying
But I think, this is what I think about Leah. I think she's a young Dorinda. I think that she is making a lot of the same mistakes and doing a lot of the same good moves that Dorinda did in her early seasons, where she's like a voice of reason, but also dips into being a complete and utter mess. Yeah. And I will tell you this, they're getting along now, and I think they'll get along probably through the rest of the season, but Leah will be back, and eventually Leah, in Dorinda's eyes, will betray Dorinda. Mm-hmm. And it will be a battle unlike anything we've ever seen. I really do think.
Like Voldemort?
Because she's on Dorinda's level of crazy, I think, and it's gonna be bad, and I can't wait. I'm like already getting excited for season 13 when Leah betrays Dorinda.
The difference, though, is I feel like Leah is crazy and a mess, but never in anyone's direction. She's, you know what I mean? She's her own mess, but she's not angry. She doesn't have a beef with anybody yet. And that is what makes her different from Dorinda, who, depending on the season, it might be your turn. That's where. But I will say, I like Leah, too. She seems to be reasonable and rational, but instinctively, I know better than to trust a white woman with a streetwear line. I've just been living too long to go for that. She's, I can't be disappointed. I can't be disappointed by whatever is coming down the pike.
I hear that. I don't trust. Yeah, you're right. And who am I to say? Like, she will go off the rails in a way. She will.
But for now, I do like her a lot.
I regret to inform you both, too, that she did write an op-ed for Meghan McCain's husband's alt-right publication.
What? Wait,
yeah,
what?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to I'm not into canceling people for past mistakes, but we do need to keep one eye open with Leah, I think.
Yes. And as a general rule, there are no heroes.
Yeah.
I know that.
Especially on the show.
Every time I say I like a person on the show or I'm enjoying that person, I get a lot of, emails and things that are like, hey, this person is problematic for this reason. And I have to say, it's like, they're all problematic. You can't be on anyone's side is the problem. Like,
a root for no one situation.
Yes.
There it is.
You have to choose the people that are just the least problematic or the least crazy or just show that they have empathy. A little bit, that they're not a total sociopath or something.
Isn't that the problem with this season, though, is that with Bethany gone, there really is not that voice of reason. That even that Carol came in and sort of replaced, but when Bethany was gone, she sort of served that role a little bit before she went off the deep end. And and specifically, I think it's really affecting the game that Ramona is playing this season, because no one is able to stand against Ramona in a completely unimpeachable way, the way that Bethany was able to stand up to Ramona. Because even Leah, who you can sense there's a lot of tension between Ramona and Leah that's going to bubble up throughout the rest of the season, she gets so fucked up that you can't, even she can't really, she doesn't have a leg to stand on all the time.
Literally.
She's not, and certainly not Dorinda or Sonia. I mean, Sonia's too drunk to coherently argue a point, and Dorinda is too angry to coherently.
And you know who definitely can't go toe-to-toe with Ramona? Elyse.
Oh.
And it was hard to watch.
It was so tough to watch her try and stake her claim. I'm mad at you too. And everyone was like, no, Elyse, no.
But also it was but aren't I your good girlfriend? But tell me I'm your friend. But tell me I'm your special friend. It was wild. To the point where I was like, I would assume that they were fucking. I've never been that strung out over any friend of mine.
She did get really fixated on sitting on Ramona's lap after they made up. I will say about Elyse too, some intel is that she literally had protesters outside of her house because she fired her nanny/maid of 16 years and refused her back pay. And there were protests outside of her house. So that's what a piece of shit Elyse is. And
that feels, but honestly, that feels right.
That feels absolutely right.
That just is
I look at her and I think this is a beautiful woman. And I know in her 20s heyday, when they were all running the streets of the Upper East Side, she was a very hot ticket. But I also wonder if she was ever interesting or curious or creative or adventurous. What else is happening?
All Elyse is giving us is bangs. Short bangs. And it's not enough. You know what I mean? I don't understand how she was ever made part of the show. And
I don't either.
And for her to say to Ramona, aren't I your friend? And Ramona to say, I have 50 friends.
That is so rude. But also this nugget where apparently Ramona massaged her husband.
I mean, Ramona is such a villain, and the way, even as much as I dislike Elyse, is such a mean girl to Elyse in the same way she was to Barb last season, and you can just tell she's so territorial. The way she was thank me for introducing you to my friends, my friends, so gross, and yet, Ramona is so right about Dorinda. It's actually kind of disturbing to me that she is making points about why Dorinda is sort of the puddle of anger that she is.
But I also just don't trust it. Where did this pool of empathy come from? I haven't ever seen it. I just don't. And what is happening? What does Dorinda have on her? I just don't trust the good motive coming from Ramona.
Speaking of pools and Ramona, Ramona's vagina is just a wet pool. I've never seen a woman so horned up on any, she's just like a snail trail behind her everywhere she goes. I've never seen something to this degree.
It's that, and you know what, Ramona? I'm tired of hearing about Ramona's other friends. For 4 months or however long they shoot this show, you have 6 girlfriends.
Yes.
Okay? That's it. That's all you are allowed.
That's it.
Okay? The only housewife who is allowed to have other friends is Garcelle, so she can have black lady friends.
Right. So black people can be on Beverly Hills.
That is the only housewife that is allowed to have outside friends outside of the main cast while they are shooting. And Ramona constantly talking about them. It's then don't be on the show. If you're better than these ladies, if you're better than these people, then don't be here anymore.
I don't want to believe there's a world outside this show. So every time you talk about these ladies, I'm like, why aren't we with them? Don't talk about people that aren't on the show. I can't. No.
Did you guys watch Jill Zarin's live that she did with Elyse?
No.
She
Who
did it.
Where?
She did on Instagram Live. I think it's still up if you go to her IG page. She did a 20-minute live with Elyse where she read Ramona. Apparently Dorinda was so awful to her at that Halloween party and kept saying whatever safe word that they have so that they can't film you. every time Jill would get near Dorinda would say it.
Wow.
And Jill was supposed to come to the Berkshires and film with them. But then, this is Jill's story, by the way.
So,
according to Jill. Exactly.
A grain of Zarin fabric.
Exactly. Dorinda was so awful to her at that Halloween party that she decided not to go. Which I'm not.
Split
the diff. Yeah.
Jill is trying to get back in this game so badly. I don't believe she turned down an invitation. I don't buy it.
I don't. An Evite that she sent herself, perhaps. But
she's been trying to make a comeback for so long.
And Andy will not budge.
Let it go, Jill. Let it go.
She can't. Now, I do want to go to this Omar's. This famous Omar's that everyone's speaking about, this place downtown that everyone went. After the Halloween party, everyone's like, when I went to Omar's, well, I'm going to Omar's. Like, what? Did it survive the pandemic? Where is Omar's?
Right.
I should just know a little bit.
What's happening there? They have tables.
We're to believe that whatever group Missy is a part of is cooler than the group of ladies that she left for. I mean, come on, Ramona.
We've seen, like, the thing is, we have seen Ramona's friends. It's just that they all look like the same person. So we didn't realize that we've seen a number of them throughout the years. But like, none of them look like fun. Not a person over. They look like their heyday was like, back in the 80s when everybody was loose and fun, and now everybody is just work on their face.
I didn't even register Elyse as anything but one of Ramona's rando friends for at least the first 5 episodes. Like, I didn't. Same. I was shocked when I saw her first confessional. I was like, wait, what is, like, why is she getting a confessional?
I know. I was like, we're doing extras confessional. Yeah. Like, it was so strange.
I knew it because there was just dark cloud just hanging around for 5 episodes. Like, she just cast a shadow over the group, and you were like, why is she still there? And offering nothing.
I can't believe she had a testimonial from home. Like, I thought we were like, okay, Elyse, we've done our business with you. And then when she got an at-home testimonial, I was like, so we did that too? Like, we think she's worth this? Like, seeing this terrible footage of this person? Like, we could get anyone to cover this footage. This is, they're really banking on her being a star that she is not. And I think we've discovered it.
Yeah, I hope they also have discovered it.
Can we talk about Lou?
Wow.
Woo!
I had written down that about halfway through this episode, I was like, wow, maybe Luann is the voice of reason this season.
Joel, we had this same moment. Yeah. I was mid-typing. I said, she's so mature and mellow this season. And then on a dime, the devil hopped out.
It was I think she's wasted. She was slurring, and I was like,
the personality, like, there was like a weird accent, like a weird early season Countess accent came out.
It was like the nurse from Pennsylvania came out, like the Lou that was, just a regular, gal.
And it's so sad to see a woman in, like, who had been doing so well, then sort of go off the deep end about her cabaret show. That she was, like, just storming about Bluestone Manor. You're out of my show. I am nationally touring. That was really
It was
dark.
rough. I have Broadway talent on my show. I saw her cabaret show when it came to L.A.
You did?
I did. I went to the Wiltern with the girlfriend. We had cocktails. We boozed it up. It was a real letdown. There's not a lot of talent on display. And I don't mean to shade her guests. I'm just saying Sonia fit in perfectly.
Would you say $225 is about what they deserved, what they earned?
No, I found that was egregious. Can you imagine? I was so upset by that number. And it was the number that sent her off. Like, it's not about her being in the shows. They called her cheap and she got defensive. Yep. But $225 for your friend to get up and perform live on this show that is apparently paying, like, that's Luann's livelihood right now. That's crazy. That's offensive. You just say, listen, I'm going to take you out to a nice dinner. Like, you don't offer somebody that amount of money to do a live show.
And then just sending Sonia into such a tailspin on that couch. What a scene. What a scene to see Sonia say, I'm a warrior. I'm a funny girl.
When she said, I'm a warrior, I'm a funny girl, I was like, oh my.
Danielle, you got to change your Twitter bio. That's it.
Oh my
That's the new one.
God.
I'm a funny girl.
I'm a funny girl is the saddest thing I've heard.
And then
He was
Leah
so
chiming
shaken.
in. Like Fanny Bryce, Leah says
Oh
quietly
my
off to the
God.
side. It's so funny.
Oh my God. It was rough. It reminded me of when Bethany and Sonia had their showdown about like the name or something.
Oh, that
Sonia-
the cheater brand?
Yeah, and Sonia had the same reaction. But I actually think Bethany was in the right. Luann is just off the freaking deep end with this one. And it was dark and ugly. I was so upset. I had to purge. I texted Danielle this morning. I was like, I gotta tell somebody this is crazy.
She was like, I'm so upset. I'm like, over what?
Specify.
Which
And so now I'm rooting for Luann to be taken down. That's what I need. I'm hot and cold like that. Fuck Luann.
Wow.
So
Wow.
who are you really rooting for then? I mean, I know we said root for no one, but I mean, is there someone
we have to find some, like, I feel
I will say this. Sonia is the only one who I've never been like offended or grossed out or disappointed by. I mean, she turns into a drunken mess, but generally is harmless and not offensive, and I think has like a really good core. I see a lovely side of Sonia, and like to the point where like her tattoo stance was shocking, which is not bad. You know what I mean? That's how highly I think of Sonia. So she's the one. I don't know that I'm rooting for her, but she's the one who I think won't let me down.
Her attitude about Leah in general is, I find, so odd because she does sort of have like she does look down her nose a little bit at Leah, and it's like, lady, look in the mirror, look at your behavior. Like, to quote Aaron, look in the mirror, like, are you happy
Yes.
with this behavior? And you know what it comes down to? It's that fucking blue book. I don't know what's sadder, her obsession with the blue book or Dorinda's obsession with the lineage of the Morgan family.
I thought to go around that tiny little Columbus Circle apartment and see her, she's like modeling photos in her 20s kind of up, and the blue book just out for people to see, like
sitting on the radiator.
Sitting on the hot radiator.
Oh, like I needed you to put that into words for me to really appreciate how sad that was.
I was like, this is dark, and I love her so much. I worry about her health sometimes.
I'm really glad that she's at this detax ranch or wherever that she's been quarantining. I feel like, I think she looks good. Yeah,
that she never looked better than when that one season where you could tell that Andy or someone in production was like, you got to cool it. Because remember, there was that one season where for the first first half of the season she wasn't drinking,
right? And they stopped inviting her to stuff. Yeah.
That was so
they were like,
Lou anywhere. They're like, Lou, it doesn't matter that she's not drinking. Come on, we'll get her to drink. But Sonia, they didn't invite her.
That's how worried they were.
Forgot her suitcase at that trip. She's like, I forgot to pack my suitcase. What?
Danielle, I primed you for this, but I've come on this show and I have rode hard and loyal for Dorinda. Dorinda has been my girl. Since she appeared on my screen. I've loved Dorinda. I've loved her. Like, I've really defended her. I said she wasn't drunk when she said, no, I don't have a mugshot in Cartagena or wherever they were. I was like conspiracy theory. I agree. I believe Dorinda when she said she wasn't that drunk when she said that to Luann. And this season, she finally has lost me. I'm finally off the Dorinda wagon. For her to make me feel empathy for Tinsley, who has everything and has done nothing with everything, it's a real feat. It's a real feat.
You gotta want it.
Yeah. You gotta work hard to be a little nasty.
Ugliness of Dorinda this season. And I do think Ramona's right. I do think it is very tied up in Richard and like the mourning process and Bluestone flooding and whatever, but it's just so nasty. It's nasty.
She was so nasty to Tinsley for the whole season until Tinsley hopped off, and that last comment about the turkey baster or whatever was just so low that you can't come back from it. And so it'll be interesting to see now who she channels that anger towards now that Tinsley's gone.
Well, it seems to be Ramona is getting it. Like, And I think it was also Ramona, because Dorinda flipped when Ramona just said, sort of like half-assly, like, are you drunk? Like something I would maybe say to a friend, like, are you drinking? What's going on? But because it's such a sore spot, because Dorinda has a problem. I know I don't want to comment on people's like alcohol stuff, but I think it's apparent to all of us. There's an issue there.
Yeah, she certainly loses it when she drinks.
Yes, and so she shouldn't, possibly, even though it's fun for us.
Yeah.
And
but that's the thing. Like, is it still fun? Like, she's become so mean and nasty that it stopped being fun, you know? And like that toast that she gave to Ramona, I walked into that situation thinking Ramona is a terrible person, and then walked out of that situation being like, dang, they were rough on Ramona. And I don't ever want to feel like that.
And that's the problem. They're not playing a smart game with Ramona. Like, this show is a game show at the end of the day. And Ramona played that so smart by just not saying anything. And they kept digging the hole deeper by just like screaming at her. And Dorinda, I mean, the moment, one of my favorite low-key moments of this episode was when Leah reacted to Dorinda telling Luann not to go there when Luann was trying to like sort of broach the subject of her behavior with her, and Leah made that face, and Dorinda assumed it was a face that was on her side. Yes. And Leah tried to articulate a little bit that like she was like, oh no, I was reacting to your crazy reaction to getting a little bit of criticism. Right. And it was
But then she jumped in to defend Sonia from Luann and was like, yeah, you're a warrior. And she turned into like this mobster. She's like, you want me to go handle it? And she, you know, she storms upstairs and she gets in her face. And it's just like, I'm dizzy.
She's weak. She's weak, she says.
And we're strong and we're warriors.
We're strong warriors. Funny.
Did we miss a scene?
What did she read?
It feels like they all did. Like, what? Where did this warrior verbiage come from all of a sudden? It's
one person said it, and then they all were just like, warriors. You know, it's like one person they all just like glommed onto and decided that they were all warriors. What
is worse, calling yourself a warrior or a funny girl when crying?
Honestly, since I'm now doing that, I don't know, I think it's a hero's move. Look, both are tough. Neither are a good look on anybody. So
it's a hard call.
But on Sonia can sort of make it work because it's kind of true in the saddest possible way. Oh,
it was so sad.
So tragic.
So tragic. They were having such a good time. Dorinda busted out the twister. They were about to play Twister.
I know, did you see? As it's like a reveal, like, well, it's time for the Twister, and just the fish room and Lou mounting the shark.
That was actually like a lovely moment, though. Like, it was such a point of contention for Lou last season, and that's when I think I wrote down like, oh, Lou's being great this season. Yeah, when she sort of like with good humor took the fish room like as a normal person should, but for Lou that seemed like pretty big. And then to just go off the deep end about your cabaret. I mean, it's really sad. It's really sad that she gave it all up for a sip of Tito's and a cabaret.
And I wonder how she, like, you know, the previews for next week don't address what happened with Luann at the end. And, you know, they always recover and get drunk and naked again the next day. But I do wonder, is this over or is that the beginning of a Luann arc? Like, what happens? Because that can't be the end. I can't live with that being the end. Something has to happen because Luann just cannot run around that way.
Guys, I don't know. Answers will be received. Should we take a break and come back with some Beverly Hills? Yes. All right, we are back with Beverly Hills. Okay, Beverly Hills. I mean, what's that for?
I mean, it was a bad episode, right? Like, it was a book ended with good scenes. I liked the beginning and I liked the end. And then the 40 minutes spent in a hospital, different varying medical facilities was...
But I was happy to get some Kim Richards. I'm always happy, even in the weirdest... Oh, Akilah saying, no, are we disagreeing?
Watch Black Snake moan if you want to see Kim. Come on.
Oh, my God, she's amazing.
She really is.
Kim's boobs were hard for me.
They're not a compelling storyline.
Oh, look, they're hard for her.
They are. You know, I feel like LA might be experiencing some trend where women are getting their boobs removed. So, I don't know if they're like, I think that might be happening now. And so good for her. Wow. It seems like a health thing. I want that for her. I just didn't need to be there. That's all.
No. Didn't need to be there. Didn't need to see Denise's daughter learn how to drive a giant truck.
No, I didn't need that. If I have to watch one more rich Beverly Hills or housewife kid, like, learn how to drive.
No.
Or like Dorit getting her new closet and like showing us the blueprint for it.
No.
Even Lisa and Erica getting whatever they were getting done to their tummies and butts.
Well, I will say, there was one part when Lisa Rinna was getting her ass, whatever, like, waxed.
Shook. Just shook.
Yeah, it was just like
getting her ass.
It's like those old-timey machines where you put the belt around you and it just shakes you. That's all it is. It's an updated version of that.
When she was getting her ass shaken and then did that monologue about
Roxy
Hart in Chicago and just being like, but isn't that what we all want? I love the people and they like, I was like, this is how this monologue should be done on stage in the music.
It is.
That to me was really beautiful. That was an audition monologue for me.
I give it up to Lisa. That was a fun moment. But if you would have told me 2 to 3 years ago that I'd be watching Beverly Hills and be sort of in love with Dorit and really mad at Lisa Rinna, I would have slapped you across the face, because I can't believe that this is how low I've come, is that I see Lisa as a villain fully and Dorit as sort of a voice of reason a little bit.
Despite the newsboy hat.
Despite it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, she truly is a rising as a hero of the series, which is a shock.
I'm not ready, guys.
You're not ready?
I'm not ready to concede it. I'm not ready. I will say, when I was watching the surgeries or whatever procedures they were getting in the kids in the closets, it made me really appreciate Garcelle, just kind of bringing some freshness to the series. And I feel like we need some more new people, because we don't have any new families to get to know, new children, new spouses. Garcelle is dating. She's got a new house. She's got these children who we haven't met before. And I feel like we need more of that, because they're running out of story on this show.
Well, like Garcelle's single, which I like too. I like to see that part of her life. Like, she's gorgeous and single and successful. So I want to see her dating. I want to see that sort of stuff.
She reminds me a little bit of Giselle, a little bit. Like, she's giving me sort of Giselle vibes. It's like sort of like the gravitas of Giselle, with like, she's a mother, but she's single. And she's sort of like,
they're both unbelievably gorgeous.
Yes. And
beauty.
Garcelle is I was screaming at my television. I've been screaming at my television. And I will say, I think that this word gets overused and has sort of been diluted to a point that we don't even know. It means something different. But the way that they've been gaslighting Denise a little bit about her stance on this. And when Garcelle finally said in the confessional, Denise's issue is not that, like, she can do whatever she wants. It's just the fact that her kids were there is the issue.
Right.
And that they all seem to be, I was like, standing O for Garcelle, because I was like, she's the only one who has like any sense about what is going on in this situation. And if I wish she would have said it to the women, because it would have really, I think, ended this a little bit.
I think she tried to, and they sort of cut her off and poo-pooed her. When they were at one point, she was like, guys, it doesn't matter. It was just around her. I feel like she did try.
In the tent. In
that stripper pole tent.
And now their argument has gotten so convoluted that Denise says she's going to go to have a steak at a strip club, and they're like, see, what a hypocrite. It's like, you've missed the point entirely. She's just not going to take her kid to a strip club. She's not going to discuss going to the strip club with her children. That's all she was saying. And I feel like they're trying to make now, Denise is not a saint and therefore she's a hypocrite. It's like, you're missing the point on purpose.
When Lisa, I'm sorry to go back, but when Lisa brought up her movies on that trip, it was such a low, slimy thing to do. And I actually think Lisa does get the difference. I think Lisa is playing the narrative for the cameras. I really do. 'Cause she's too smart. Lisa, very, very smart.
They're intentionally twisting this argument, because for whatever reason they feel attacked, which maybe I don't understand, because I'm not a mom, because it wasn't an attack.
As a mom, I was like, Kyle, no one's saying shit about you as a mother. I'm like, she's not saying she's a better mother. She's never even insinuated that. That's in Kyle's fucking fucked up crazy head. I'm like, that's your shit coming out. That has nothing to do with what Denise is saying. And I have to say, her movies are also, Denise's movies are classics. Like, I've seen these movies. So they're
Drop Dead Gorgeous?
Oh my
Come on.
God.
Listen, we know Denise Richards.
Exactly.
We know her. It bothers me because it feels like we're already, how many episodes in? And we've had two storylines. There's Teddi and her event that nobody wanted to go to. And somebody mentioned the threesome in front of Denise's kids. And that has been the season. And they keep teasing this other shoe dropping. And I'm like, when? To the point that they did a preview where Kyle's having this party and Brandy shows up. And I know we're supposed to be like, it's happening. And I still don't believe it now.
Yeah.
They've been dragging it on so long. We got 3 more episodes.
They got nothing.
Before
it's
this
like
happens.
Lucy Juicy Apple Juice all over again. I've never been so bored by a supposed threesome or whatever. I'm like, come on, show this to me, or like, get off the screen.
Can I say? And this might be like the most polarizing thing I say on the podcast, but because you remember, I don't think you were here, Danielle, when I said this. I believe just Casey, but I've sort of reached the end with Erica. I'm no longer. She's sort of coming alive a little bit more this season than she has, I think, even for the last 2. Like, I've just not been. I don't know. It's just she seemed a little bit asleep at the wheel for me. But when she said that she would yell at Tom if he ever spoke to her friends the way that Aaron spoke to them. And I'm not defending Aaron and his weird fucking accent, but let's remember Erica's first season, I'm Speaking Erica, when Tom spoke so rudely to Catherine Edwards. Listen.
Wait,
it's all on camera.
This.
It's all on camera. It was like one of the episodes where they go over, I think they meet Tom, maybe one of the early seasons. It was like one of the dramas with Erica in her first season was the way that he spoke to Catherine Edwards, and he cut off Erica and said, I'm Speaking Erica. And that was her chance. That was her chance to be the bad bitch that she is presenting herself to be and say this, that, and the other thing.
That is amazing that you remembered that. That's a good call. And it also, that is interesting because the moment that I kind of turned on Erica and never came back is when she snapped at Teddi and was like, don't you ever talk to me that way. And I just was like, Erica wouldn't talk to me that way. Like, Erica, you know what I mean? She picks and chooses. Erica, she knows who to fuck with because she wouldn't talk to Garcelle that way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so I'm just like...
And she's not talking to Denise that way either, by the way. She's talking to Aaron.
Guys, Erica would totally talk to me that way.
Teddi barely...
I feel it in my bones.
Oh, my goodness.
Teddi barely registers as a character on this show. Barely registers as a friend to these women. They forget that she's coming to events. They don't plan any refreshments that a pregnant woman can partake in. She barely registers as a person. I think I would probably get along with Teddi in real life if I met her, but she's not for this show.
No,
she was so unnecessary this episode. Yeah. And that I feel like is the worst observation about a housewife, that you were unnecessary.
I would take Sutton over Teddi, honestly.
Whoa, yeah, me too.
Yeah, give Sutton Teddi's diamond. And yes, Sutton is very sweaty. Yes, it's so sweaty and confusing. And yes, Sutton is the epitome of people thinking wealth is taste. Like, she conflates her wealth with having taste, because I will say she looks fucking tacky as shit almost every single time. I don't care how expensive her clothes are. She looks so fucking busted to me every time she steps on to that camera. But I will say she's putting in the work in the ways that Teddi is not.
She appears. She's when she comes on the screen, I notice.
She's crying. She's angry. It's all a little scattershot in the way that you know, it's just not, it's unfocused, but at least she's putting something out there.
Yeah. Sutton is such a non-factor for me that I didn't even write her name down in my notes. I at least wrote Teddi was unnecessary. I don't even have a note for Sutton. I feel like Sutton is a transition person. Like, if we wanted to get rid of Teddi, we put Sutton in for a season, and then we rotate Teddi out, and then we rotate somebody in, and then we switch Sutton out. I just feel like
she's the Elyse of Beverly Hills is what she is. I mean, she was supposed to have a diamond. Like something happened. She wouldn't let the cameras into her house or something weird.
Why are you here?
Yeah, it was.
Like, what are you doing?
You got to give us all access, or we can't.
Or you have to be very interesting outside of your home.
I'm not Taz. I'd like to know more about Taz.
Who is that?
Yeah.
Garcelle's assistant.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes. It's like, I want to know more here.
She seems fun. They seem like they have a fun relationship.
Give Garcelle a show. Just give Garcelle a show.
Truly,
honestly.
I'm hanging on for her.
And I also feel like that scene with her friends, they were such a fun group. They were so alive that I was actually like, I'd like to follow them out of the restaurant and watch them as opposed to this Kyle. Like, I'm just not having much fun.
I'm not having fun. I don't know about you guys, but the Aaron thing really pissed me off, the way that he spoke to them. Like, I can't get over it. He pissed me off to the point that now, like, I started this season, Team Denise, whatever happened with Brandy, I'm on Denise's side. The way that she stood there and allowed him to talk to her friends twice, not once, but twice. They came back, and then she went to the restroom. She knew he was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
She knew when she left him, he was nuts.
She left a ticking time bomb out there. Like,
it's so interesting to see Dorit really try to be a peacemaker, because she knows, like, it does not go well when your husband gets involved in a fight with the women. Mauricio is always somewhere high in a corner.
Looking good.
He's there to escort a crying Kyle out of an event. And
Harry
that's
Hamlin
all we require of you.
Plods in house slippers and plods out of frame.
Yeah,
that's
he's always like bringing a pie in,
That's it.
taking a tent out, and like that. Great, we love it.
That is all that I need from you. Because if your husband cusses me out, you're both dead to me.
Yeah,
it's over with. So now I'm rooting for Brandy or whoever is against Denise. All of it was bad.
They need to give him subtitles, honestly, because the accent is too thick.
They need to get him away.
Yeah, last season he was sort of like this breath of fresh. I was excited for them to get married, and then he started talking about 5G and this conspiracy, and people are following them, and I was like, what's happening? Oh my God, what's happening? I don't understand.
You guys, Denise told Lisa Rinna outside of Kyle's house, he deals with fucking cancer. I can't subject him to this. And I've just never heard cancer used that way.
Yeah.
Like, not I'm dealing with cancer, but my best friend's cancer is the reason why I can't talk. What?
Well, his like weirdo machines and I don't know. I want to say crystals are involved. It's all.
Sure.
I mean, and Mauricio, what a shit stirrer that dinner when he was like, "Keep talking. I want to hear more. I want to hear more about this theory." Yeah, they should never have. She should have never allowed him to speak. He should have been an Instagram presence alone.
Yes.
Now, I will say there's always a ghost hanging over the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. A ghost of Big Kathy. And that is, Kyle and Kim and Kathy Hilton's mother. And she hangs so large over this show and over these women that I find I'm always excited when she's spoken of. Because she is just this scary queen to me. Like, I think she had this like firm hand on her daughters, loving but judgmental, never letting them out of her grip, always going for fame, always wanting like she is. I
think that's why Kyle and Lisa Vanderpump were so close for so long. Is because Kyle has mommy issues. Like,
oh, that makes all the sense.
A big Kathy stand-in. I don't miss Lisa, I have to say.
I don't either.
I don't miss her.
Yeah.
I don't think she would have added anything.
I don't miss her, but I'm missing something.
Yeah.
We need more. We're not getting
honestly, Camille. I can't wait. I can't wait. I hate her. I hate her so much. But the show, like, it is a sort of wake up moment. I think that we've Brandy and Camille coming back in the same episode.
Yeah.
It is an enticing proposition.
Someone sent me something on Twitter where someone said, like, oh, Camille, Kyle's people are going to go for you if you keep talking like this. And she goes, oh, please. She's like, my house burned down. I had a public divorce. I survived cancer. I can take anything.
Oh, my God.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. And we see in the previews that Teddy's trying to take, Teddy was trying to take Camille on? She's like, you don't like, or was it Dorit? I
think it's Dorit, yeah. Because Dorit's I remember Dorit's hair looked really good. I'm so sorry, Akilah.
No, important.
Whatever wig she had screwed on that night. Was,
I know what she does. Dorit has that new sort of like that girl, like
very mod, very
kind of like flip going on that I'm not sure if I hate or I love. I can't quite get my head around it, but it's definitely a look we're going for. And then also, don't forget, next episode we also are getting Eileen back.
Oh,
you see that? Yes.
I miss that. I miss that.
Eileen. I like Eileen. I like
hate
her.
Eileen.
Really?
I don't. Eileen is sort of reality television ambient for me.
Yes.
It is. She is not adding. I think it's a sort of a lateral move from Teddi. Honestly,
yes.
I really do think
Ooh.
she's not adding. She's not adding a ton.
That's rough.
I do think Eileen I liked more than Teddi. Teddi stirs up a little more drama, but I don't care about the drama.
Right.
So
It's stupid drama. Yeah.
Eileen always gave me like. She always gave me anxiety. She was always wearing like a terrible jumpsuit. Like her fashion was so bad. It was just like
she definitely didn't belong. You could tell she did not run in this set.
Yeah,
she's not a label girl. She's not
Alex
a first
McCord
girl.
Vibes.
Yes, Alex McCord.
That's great. We saw also Heather is supposed to make an appearance on the next.
Oh,
New
right.
York.
Yeah, we were all clamoring for that.
You know, I like Heather. Heather seems like we would actually be friends in New York.
Yeah, but that doesn't make a housewife.
No, it does not. It does not mean she needs to be on the Housewives.
Did you guys also read that Villa Blanca is closing forever? They're not making it out of the. They're not making
another casualty.
Villa Blanca, that's what I read. There's notices on the thing. That place is disgusting.
But Tom stands
to survive the apocalypse. That place, it's Tom and the roaches, and that is all that will be left of this earth when it is blown up.
Sir is also a mess. It's just.
I mean, Pump has given me the runs more times than I can. Care to count.
Yeah, it is interesting that she's built this fantastic brand off of some like old school cheesecake factories. Like,
Cheesecake Factory is better.
It is because I feel like they clean it.
I'd rather go to Dorit's section of Buca de Beppo, honestly.
Oh my goodness, I need to know what that's about.
I've seen a picture.
Okay.
Yeah, someone Instagrammed a picture of it, and it literally looks like the Olive Garden. It's like fake fruits and vines and like big portions.
What? I still don't understand this business model where you take a room of a chain restaurant. I don't understand it.
It doesn't exist. It's like
I think they made it up for Dorit.
Her style is so confident that I tend to defer to her on things like, oh, well, maybe that is a trend that the Beverly Hills ladies are doing, but I've never heard such a thing, and it also doesn't make sense.
It's so strange.
That being said, I'd like to do it. I'd like to try my hand. I'd like to try my hand at decorating.
Where do you want to get in? What restaurant?
Yeah, what's your restaurant?
I think maybe. I mean, honestly, I did work at the Olive Garden for many years. I think I could do some real work there. I love the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, I could do a wing of McCormick and Schmick's.
Okay.
Akilah, who are you redecorating?
I'm trying to figure out what is a chain restaurant. I could do a Fridays.
Ooh.
A little fun, festive Fridays.
Yeah, block party. Yeah,
like a little DJ in the back.
I like get an Oreo Speedwagon there. And
get into it.
I love an Oreo Speedwagon. That was my favorite drink. That's what I would order every single time.
Wow.
Oh, you know where I'd really like to do some work is an Outback Steakhouse.
Ooh.
Yep, I can see that.
Do some work there, like an American wing of the Australian Outback.
Oh yeah, I'm picturing cowboy hats.
You know what?
If that's yeah.
I did eat some rare salmon at an Outback Steakhouse that gave me food
bold.
poisoning, but that is my fault. That is my fault. I take responsibility. I take responsibility for that.
You do. You don't go into a steakhouse as poor as it is and disgusting and order the salmon.
Rare.
It was a little rare, and I said I should send this back, but I'm from the Midwest, and we just don't do that.
Oh man,
you got to take a Jew with you.
I ate the whole thing.
We will send it all back. I'll send the entire fucking table back. It's used. My husband's always afraid to send stuff back because he's from Arkansas. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, send it the fuck back. Send it all back. I'll send back a Diet goddamn Coke. I have no shame in that game. Guys, this was a pleasure. Any parting thoughts for either of these gorgeous series?
I did love when Dorit was explaining her former Italian lover and they flashed back to pictures of a completely different face. I do always love when they tell on themselves like that on this show. Just a completely different Dorit. I
felt that way about Sonya's radiator pictures. Where
radiator pictures.
Don't show people the evidence. You know? Yeah. My take is that Kyle's life looks fabulous to me. Like she's got money. I feel like she and Mauricio have a good thing. And I feel like they've made some shrewd moves in their life. Like apparently somebody stole a real estate agency and somebody stole a house or whatever they did. It's working for them. And while I'm not loving her this season, I think I would like to be friends with her in real life.
Yeah.
That was my takeaway.
I'd like to move into her house. She'd probably never notice.
She would not know.
Yeah. I think some of her behavior has been ugly, but I think you're right. Out of all of them, if I were forced to go on vacation with one of these women, it would probably be Kyle.
But I would tell her you can't wear any of your hats. That's a rule. Okay, Kyle? Where can everybody find you, or what would you like to plug? I mean, you guys have so much funny stuff that I'm a huge fan of your stand-up, Joel, and Akilah.
Thank you.
Now, an award nominee by the Critics Association. But anything else you want to plug besides?
I'm at I Hate Joel Kim, and I'm on this most recent season of Search Party, which is on HBO Max.
I've watched the first 2 seasons. I love them so much.
It's so great. Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows, and to be on it, even just for a little bit, was so fun. And
exciting. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Akilah?
I'm living online as usual. So just follow me at Akilah Green on Twitter and Instagram. I might be posting some more cleavage. Who knows?
Thank you guys so much. You guys are such a dream team. I adore you both. And thank you guys for coming on. And Casey, we will see you next week. And we love you and we miss you. And thank you to Earwolf. And thank you to our wonderful listeners. Keep indoors if you can, or wear a mask if you're going to go outside. We love you all. Stay safe. See you next week. Bye.